bearing with me for Monday and Tuesday while I was so sniffly and sneezy that you would not have wanted to listen to me. Today, I've got just a little bit of bass slipping into my vocal tones, but other than that, I'm feeling far, far more human and ready to go, and I think we should be minimal on all things coming down the microphone. I think I'm just going to sound a little bit more sultry than usual. But I didn't have the face cam set up, and the other day somebody pointed out that as my laptop is here on the desk, I do always have a backup face cam, but I feel like it's going to jump scare you because the quality is very different. So are you ready? Hi! Why does this feel really weird, like I've gone back in time and I'm shooting it on like an early camera phone? My laptop has a decent camera in it, but it doesn't seem to create anything like what I use on the other two cameras. So I guess I was just unexpected. This was just unexpected. So anyway, I am here in person. We're all good. Right, but let's take it back to the desk. Yes, it's so year 2000, or as the youth would say, did you shoot that with a potato? Apparently, if you have a bad phone camera or the quality is terrible, it's a potato. Did you film that with a potato? So hilarious. Right, so we have done 3 layouts so far with the May supplies. They look like this. Ba-da-da-da! 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 Right, so that's what we've done so far. Today, I'm working with 4x6 photos, so I'm going back to this size. So I've done 3x4, 4x6, 3x4, today 4x6. Interestingly, again, I've done a pair. So apparently, that's my vibe in May, is to scrapbook with pairs of 4x6 photos. But that's what we're going to do today. But as this Wednesday replaces a Monday, I am going to work in a starting points kind of feel, which means we're going to pull out all the supplies. We're going to start working with them before I put the photos on and then carry on and finish the project. So let's see what we've got here. We have these pieces. We have this vellum. All right, so we have Georgia is cinching the pages together in her Scrap and Learn organizer and says, OMG, the detail. If you haven't signed up for the virtual treat this weekend, you are missing out. I would love for as many people as possible to come to Scrap and Learn. There's going to be so much good stuff. And I'm really excited because the thing that Georgia's talking about is all of the like printout worksheets. And my class includes like the worksheets cover some of it, but it's a video presentation. It's me teaching. It's like the Shimelle TED Talk. So what I'm teaching is called Reasons to Scrap, and we're using Reasons to Smile. And so there's a double page and a single page that Georgia has all of the information. She can see all of that right now because there's like written instructions translated into multiple languages, I would say. I have to point it out, they have translated everything into also Spanish and Portuguese. I think that's kind of epic and a lovely little USP. So in what Georgia has seen already, she can see the double page that I'm doing and the single page that I'm doing. She says she's printed it all, and it's like 200 pages of documents, a Bible for the retreat. It's her level of #organized heaven. But my class also includes more than what she sees there, and I'm very excited for it. I hope everyone enjoys it. And so I'm teaching 2 layouts in a layout-y class kind of form, but also a TED Talk that's going to help you making other stuff. And I'm quite excited about that. Do you remember years and years ago I did a this is why I scrapbook kind of thing? I had 2 little kind of themey concept videos on I still do, on my YouTube channel. One was the Make Every Day a Scrapbooking Adventure kind of thing, which went big because it was featured by Allie. And then before that, I had a This Is Why I Scrapbook. And it was like white screens that flashed up different words and then got into Reasons Why I Scrapbook. It's really old, and it was me talking about why I scrapbooked in a kind of child-free version. And it's nice. It was nice for me to go back and look at that now with the perspective of somebody who has scrapbooked a really long time, and that my reasons have both stayed the same and added on. So all of the reasons that I scrapbooked in that early video still hold true. I haven't replaced any of them. I've just added. Georgia says, for those of you doing it, please tell me if I need to print anything else because I will hold off. No, there's nothing else you need to print, but maybe have some extra paper with you if you're the kind of person who likes to do written notes, because there shall be talking. I don't have more printed stuff. I am later today going to go, I'm going to do a little video demonstration of how to choose if your photos will work well, and I'm going to stick that on their Facebook group this evening. Okay, all right, that's enough about me talking, but yeah, Scrap and Learn is this weekend, and I hope that you all enjoy. I'm teaching on Sunday, but it runs Saturday and Sunday. Can I just ask, for those of you who are listening, is the voice coming out okay, or is it super duper gravelly? I'm wondering if I need to move the microphone further away than normal, because it might be picking up just the gravelly part that I feel is coming from my throat. So let me know if it's sounding really terrible, and I will move things around a little bit. Okay, let's look at paper. So these are the sheets that I have not cut into yet. The photos that I'm using are friends in front of a brick wall. I want to go with this one. Because brick wall is a different aesthetic to me than wood grain. Okay, voice sounds fine. Thank you very much. Okay. It feels to me really gravelly, but you know, we don't sound the way that we hear our own voice. There was a big lecture yesterday about that in one of my classes, and I was really excited to hear somebody put into words in a good manner of why our own voices sound differently inside our heads. It has to do with bone structure. I don't feel like the circular one works either. Now, I had imagined that I would use the stars for starlight. Can I do those with pink rainbows? I don't see why not. Okay, but also, I love you all. You're like, it's absolutely fine. P.S. You sound more like Bryan Adams and Rod Stewart than normal. You're the best. Okay, so I want to bring in a background sheet today and use this. That's what I want to do. I'm actually wondering if I want to go super wild and use white, just white cardstock. It's the cough syrup talking. What is she on about? I've got, oh no, that's not a whole sheet. I thought I had a green background, but I don't. I have 3/4 of a green background. Let's look at white or whatever else is here. Let's have a look. Because we all know I'm not great at white, but sometimes it calls to me. Why is that happening? Okay. I really do need a camera in here, because then when I say things like, why is that happening? I'm talking to the paper. And you guys would understand that, where most people would know that I'm out of my tree, I'm talking to paper. And sometimes you gotta talk to the paper. What if I just went with something like this instead of plain white? Yeah? Do I have a brick wall stencil? Yes, I do. That wasn't really where I wanted to go with this, though. Okay, so you could use plain white cardstock. I would rather use something that's just almost white cardstock, but not. So this works for me. Okay. All right, so here we go. We are going to Use this. This is pink paisley from 2010. It's House of 3. Oh my goodness, that means the other side's going to look brilliant, and I'm going to regret that I'm using the B side. But also, I've had it in my stash since 2010. Oh, it's okay. It's a collagey one. All right. So what I want to do with our starting point today is a whole bunch of edge work. Yes? Do I feel like the left side or the right side? Have I done everything? See, sometimes I have to check because I will unknowingly do this. Look, 2 3x4s in this quadrant, 2 by 3x4s in this quadrant. And this one has that. But I think we are going to work on that side. We're going to do border work over here. All right. So let's start with the rainbows. I think we might end up using both sides of this today. Bench work, not bench work. Edge work. We're going to work on the edge of the paper. Okie dokie. All right. So that means that we can use this paper, but also some other pieces. Yeah, because we can use pieces that we've already cut into, and that will work just fine. All right, I had notes. Pull the notes up so I don't forget. Here are my notes. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is destroy my background. Okay, so I'm going to tear this part off. Yeah. And I'm going to roll this back a little bit. So that when I'm doing this edge work, it feels more integrated into the page rather than something I've made and plopped on top of a background. Yeah. So by doing that. Now, I could just do that. Of course I could. And you've seen me do it many times. But as it's, a kit, I kind of want to make this last a little bit more than that. So what I'm going to do is take that aside, and then we're going to make this into 12 by 12 with adhesive there and adhesive here. And then, and then just use another 12 by 12 page as a template to square it up and stick it down. And now I know my layout's the right size, yeah? But I've got some room there to tuck things under and all the different things that I might want to do, yes? All right. So let's definitely use a bit of vellum. And I just need a little bit of everything that I'm going to add. And this vellum, I can probably just tuck behind here and use the adhesive that's already there. Oh, printed vellum is always so pretty. Let's see if that's stuck or if it's just in place. Yeah, it's almost stuck. Okay. They had, Scrapbook.com had multiple designs of this from Minte. So it's all different designs of like white embossed ink on vellum. So definitely worth a look. Really cute. Okay, we've got yellow in that rainbow, so we can bring yellow in here. Just tearing strips. Should I have done that before the vellum? Maybe. Hold on. Don't worry, the vellum's coming back in. I'm just wondering if it would be easier to do the vellum last. I think it would. Yeah? Okay. Don't worry, vellum, but I like how that particular layer set looks. So I want that over the pink rather than over other pieces. Okay. And same thing here. I want to roll these back to get a little bit of dimension on each one. Yes, it will mostly get flattened in the page protector, but that doesn't matter. We've got a little rainbow stripe here. Oh, we're going to do that in 2 pieces. So 4 through it. That's all right. Good night. Catch you later. All right. So this is actually 2, and I can just, well, I mean, it's almost 2. Now it's 2. So I can tuck this behind. So I don't want it quite so far out. Okay. And now the vellum, I think. Okay. Auntie Caffeine says, I'm sure you've covered this before. Is there a reason you don't use those metal tearing template things? Because that would take all the fun out of it for me. I actually, I mean, I say that's an honest answer. I know some people prefer a tool for tearing because they can control it more. I love tearing because it's not controlled. Does that make sense? I like it that I get something that's unpredictable, like that went in a completely different direction than I thought. I love the energy of that. I love the creative process of that. And I think it's something that if you are not completely weirded out by, that's my technical design term, weirded out by, that you can really embrace. Yeah. I am going to put just the tiniest bit of adhesive on the vellum. So I have a feeling it's not going to work here in this little gap, but we're going to just add something else there, and that's fine. Yeah, and actually, me not using a metal tearing tool is exactly like me not using tweezers. And when I watch people scrapbook with tweezers, I can love the end result, but I watch their process going, oh, I could not do that. One, because I'm clumsy with tools. Let's just be honest. I'm clumsy with tools. I have better control with my fingertips. But also, the thing that got me into scrapbooking was that I needed a hobby that used my hands. I needed a tactile hobby. The other things that I enjoy doing in a creative way, I love lettering and drawing. I love sewing. I love knitting. I can't crochet for toffee, but it's okay. They're all things where my hands are involved. My fingertips are actually involved. Yeah. Even in photography, I cannot cope with photography on a screen where you're just tapping at this screen. I need a shutter button. Give me a shutter button and a lens to twizzle, and I am in my zone. If I can't push things with my fingertips, I'm out. I'm not good at it. And I think really there is a thing where our brains all work in different ways, and some of us are great with tools, and some of us can feel that connection. And I can make a connection. I can do chopsticks, and I can do detail cutting with giant scissors. So I'm not completely out of it, but the enjoyment for me definitely comes from being hands-on. So anytime I remove it, it's the same reason that I'm using scissors and not a trimmer. I got trimmers both sides of me. One there, one there. You can use both of them. but I'm going to pick up my scissors because it's what makes sense for me. I enjoy it. So there we go. Very tactile hobby. Corey says she hadn't thought about it that way. No wonder her child needs to build things. Maybe she is mine after all. Definitely. Yeah. Yes, I always use my hands when I talk. Yeah. My hands are an extension of my personality. Yes. And it's funny because that's definitely something that my child has inherited, because he gets a lot of comment about in theater, and especially in musical theater, we talk about energy to your fingertips. And he never really he has had to be trained in lots of things, but that was one thing he did not have to be trained in. The energy does always go to his hands. And when he's, even if the steps are like he's learning something and the steps are all over the place, the hands will finish with a flourish. And that makes me laugh. Speaking of hands with a flourish, that just reminded me, I haven't done my speech. I jumped right in. Okay, let me have a drink before I do this so I don't sound too much like a Rod Stewart. Because we don't want to insult Rod Stewart and he'll be like, excuse me, no. Right, where now? Okay, if you weren't here at the very beginning, face cam is a potato today, okay? Okay, just saying, don't freak out. Hello! See, I told you, it's old-timey camera. But anyway, hi, my name is Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not my hobby. It's not just my hobby. It is my job. And that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my #advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, quiet, craft, don't craft, think about coming back to craft. All of it. You can find links to everything that's relevant in the description box with this video, and that includes all the supplies I'm using this month, that's May, all the supplies I'm using next month, that's June, when we are living the dream. Please keep in mind with next month's kit, the reason that I went all in on Live the Dream and added just a few other bits and pieces to round it out is because I have been told that this is a one-shot deal. Now, whether that becomes not the truth and there are restocks is out of my hands, because I don't control production and stuff like that. But unlike my other collections, I have been told it's unlikely there will be restocks. It was just initial orders, and that's what's happening. So instead of spreading the collection across multiple months, I put it all in one. And if you see something from that collection that you would like, I would say grab it rather than waiting for it to come on sale, because I don't know how long it's going to be around at how many places, okay? That's not me trying to attempt any sort of FOMO. Please do not feel pressured, and never spend more money on craft than you can afford, okay? Please feed your family before you buy pretty paper. Cool. Then I teach classes, and you can find those in the description box too. Things like Scrap and Learn this weekend, and the classes I have that are all current and new and all of that sort of stuff, that's on my blog at shimelle.com, and it's all in the very first post. When you go there, all of the stuff that's current is right there at the beginning. So you can find all of that there. And you can find affiliate links to buy my products at both scrapbook.com and a cherry on top. And I really, really, really thank you for buying my collections through an affiliate link or buying your stash through an affiliate link. It makes all this possible. Thank you so much. That is enough of the potato cam. Let's go back to a nice clear picture, shall we? Okay. Right. Yes, it's a Phineas and Ferb kind of day. Right. Oh, plus we've got Pooh and Rabbit who came to say hello. I have Piglet and Tigger, but they're out of the shop. All right. Now, if we get Phineas and Ferb Lego, you know it's less than a month away now until the new season of Phineas and Ferb is coming back after decades. I'm very excited. Oh, Corey's on it. 3 more weeks till the new Phineas and Ferb season. If we could get a Lego Phineas and Ferb crossover, I got Lego gift cards ready to go. All right. Let's go back to this. Okay, so we've got a little space to work with here. So let's have a look. Remember, this month we don't have embellishment in the kit. We are using up embellishments from other kits and other months and other stuff, including anything. Georgia, that is fabulous, and I really appreciate it. Georgia says because it's overseas, she's not shopping at an American shop, she's shopping locally, but then she's buying classes to help contribute, and I really, really appreciate it. Yes. And I hope you enjoy the classes. Right. So what do we want to go with here? These are a big mix of different pieces from kits we've had this year. I've also got some sticker sheets and stuff. I mean, we could go, that actually isn't a bad combination, is it? Because these colors are kind of echoing the rainbows here. So we could do that, which might put something like that over there. And the B side of the rainbow, because I was thinking about using that to mat the pictures, is that kind of tone. That still works. Okay, I'll put that there so I know. Georgia doesn't know who Phineas and Ferb is. It's okay. Phineas and Ferb are. So Phineas and Ferb is it was originally Disney Channel, now Disney Plus, cartoon about a blended family. So Phineas and Ferb are stepbrothers, but they're the same age. And Phineas does a lot of talking, and Ferb is British and usually says one sentence per episode. Amazing. Yeah, and it has a villain that is adorable, and it has a platypus. So they have a pet platypus called Perry, and they often wonder, where's Perry? And Perry, spoilers, has a secret life as a secret agent. Agent P! And unbeknownst to the boys, he is saving the tri-state area on a regular basis, usually once per episode. While Phineas and Ferb, their whole concept is that they have 104 days of summer vacation, and they're going to do something cool each day. And their sister, Candace, is going to try to bust them. Busted. Yeah, it never happens. They always get away with it, and the things they do are brilliant. So there we go. Okay, Auntie Caffeine, I'm going to tell you what makes the animation amazing. Are you ready? Okay, because Auntie Caffeine said she could never stand the animation for that show, and it was such a departure from what she grew up with Beautiful Care Bears and Rainbow Bright. I'm going to put myself on the potato camera to tell you about this because I know the backstory here, and I love it. And so here we have, see their faces? They're all like really geometric and hardly three-dimensional. The only thing that's three-dimensional about their faces is that their eyeballs overlap. I don't know which way I'm pointing. Yeah? Okay. So this was done on purpose. Here's the platypus. It's underneath the microphone. Beep. So this was done on purpose because from the outset, they liked the idea of creating a show where the target audience would be able to draw the characters and legitimately draw them. So they wanted to make them really geometric. So Phineas, which way am I pointing? Why is it? It's so confusing. Phineas is like a triangle, and Ferb is kind of like a baseball bat with a nose over here. And Candace has this like really long neck, and even the villain has a more geometric face. He's over here. I don't know where I'm pointing. So the idea was that if the only bit of dimensional work in their faces was the overlapping eyeballs, we would still see them as 3D, but kids would be able to draw that. And if you think about the kind of doodles that you might have done when you were like 10 to 12, did you ever draw the little face that's over the wall? And he has dimensional eyeballs, right? But everything else is really, really simple shapes. Like, I mean, even the eyeballs are simple shapes. So the idea was that then kids would actually feel like they were part of it, and their fan art would be like legitimately good. That you would be able to, as a 10-year-old, watch this show and draw it, and it would all come together. So that was going to be a purposeful departure from things like Care Bears, where Care Bears, I've seen the original sketches and they're like watercolor art. Yes, it's a completely different realm. And the other thing is that the geometric style is that it's actually a really specific artist that they did this, and he's a Disney legend, and his name has escaped me because I wasn't prepared to talk about this, even though I wore the t-shirt. So please forgive me. I can't remember the name of the Disney legend that they did this, but it's a specific artist from the early days of Disney animation who used to sketch everything in geometric shapes, and they really liked his work and thought it would be a really lovely tribute, and that all kind of came together in a nice little artistic salad to say, this is our pitch. So yeah, it's not animators getting cheap and lazy at all. And the hilarious bit is there's a movie-length Phineas and Ferb called Phineas and Ferb in the Second Dimension, where they go to another dimension and there's another Phineas and Ferb, and they're even flatter because they don't have like color and stuff. And it's such a like meta choice to be like, but we've drawn them as two-dimensional for this entire time, and now we're going to the second dimension, as in another dimension, but what could we do to make them less dimensional, seeing as we didn't draw them with much dimension? And they found a way to do it, and it's very clever. Also, I'm going to scrapbook now. The thing I'm most excited about, possibly in the return, that we get all these new episodes, is that we had a little spoiler on Dan Povenmire's Instagram because he's been showing all sorts of little behind the scenes moments, and he's just funny to follow anyway. But if you've ever watched, if you've ever fallen down this rabbit hole, there's a kind of spin-off cartoon called Milo Murphy. And Milo is living Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong does go wrong. And Milo is voiced by Weird Al Yankovic. And there is an episode where Phineas and Ferb turn up in Milo Murphy. Mark Davis, thank you. Yeah, Mark Davis is the Disney legend that they were. I didn't realize there was also a connection to Mary Blair, but that makes complete sense. Thank you, Corey. Mark Davis and Mary Blair. Mary Blair did lots of geometric work, so that totally makes sense. It's just not who I had ever heard mentioned, but makes loads of sense. So Phineas and Ferb do show up in one episode of Milo Murphy, but Milo Murphy came after Phineas and Ferb, and Dan holds the camera back in the studio, and Weird Al's at the desk. So we're clearly getting Milo Murphy in Phineas and Ferb. Britt says she thinks it's clearly made for adults because she enjoys watching it. I will say it's basically the only cartoon that the Adhesive Avenger won't be like, seriously, grown-up TV now. He loves it. I think he has seen every episode, and he likes figuring out all the sorts of things that you wouldn't figure out. So the fact that they're a blended family is never brought up. You just realize, oh, the dad has a British accent and the mom has an American accent. One of the kids has a British accent and is the same age as one of the kids with an American accent. And then the older sister also has an American accent. So we're left to work it out, right? And I just feel choices like that make my heart sing, because that's not accidental. That's going, you know what, kids deal with this all the time. Kids meet families that are different. And yeah, amazing. Okay, so we're going this sort of direction with the layout. Back to the scrapbook page. Yeah, right. Also, no, I want to fact check this before I say it. Voice. Yeah, okay. I wanted to fact check it because I was like, Have I made that up in my head? Okay, there's one last thing. Oh, Hey Dougie is brilliant. Yeah. Okay. And is different than Doug, which is American. Hey Dougie is British and newer. Okay. For those of you who haven't seen it and you're British and you're going, I don't know. Why would an adult like a cartoon? Can I just tell you that the British dad is Richard O'Brien. Like Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, like came up with the Rocky Horror Show, and also the guy from Crystal Maze. Yeah, he's a Kiwi, but he's like an adopted Brit. Yeah. Okay, no more potato Kim. Dad is Richard O'Brien. Right, Sophia says, side note, are you aware that Solidarity Gaming's fan community harassed him with the if I had a nickel quote, even getting the voice act? I didn't realize they got the voice actor to do it, but that's amazing. I do really, really love the if I had a nickel. And some people say that quote and don't know what it's from. So if you've ever heard like, if I had a nickel for every time I drop my adhesive, I'd have 2 nickels, but still it's really weird that it happened twice. That's a Phineas and Ferb ongoing joke. I'd have 2 nickels. All right. So we're going to go this way. Let's put some ink on this. Is this brown? Yep. Let's do brown. Elaine didn't know it was Richard O'Brien. Ferb, the British brother, has changed at least once, but at one point was, is it Thomas Brody Sangster? Am I saying his name right? I'm doing it off the top of my head without checking. The kid from Love Actually, but who then grew up and was in, he's in Queen's Gambit and stuff like that. I didn't fact check that one, so now I've probably got it wrong, but I believe that was correct. Now I want to fact check it. Yeah, Thomas Brody Sangster, and then it became somebody else. I don't know who's doing it in the new season. Yeah. Then it became David Arago Jr. There we go. Right. Who knew this episode's random rubbish was going to become the Phineas and Ferb show? Do we want that color in? I think so. Ah, yes, he was Peter Pan in Once Upon a Time. Yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, so we're going to have... I just tore that not for the torn edge, but because I don't need the whole thing. So it's just bringing a little bit of this, not the whole chunk. We've got some other pieces that can go with that. This peach can still work. So let's pop that up here. Photos are going to cover a fair amount of this. I want more of this yellow though. Yellow's got to come in. So I'm not sure that the paper, the notebook paper part is really the right vibe, but the photo is going to overlap this bottom part. It's not going to be used for writing. So then that would give me a little triangle to tuck this one underneath here. How can you be so confident with your placement before the photos and the embellishments go on? Because I'm following the same old rules, the same old concepts I have used hundreds, if not thousands of times. I'm not doing anything new. So I know it'll work. Little changes here and there, but nothing big. Everything is very similar. I do want to find, I have lots of pieces from this collection because that's the collection that we got in January to use throughout the year. And somehow I have not kept it in a nice sensible spot right next to me like you would think that a sensible person would do. But you know that I'm just not a very sensible person. So let's look over here where I'm more likely to have left it. And then have the fun discovery that WB has been reviewing the pages of his one-a-day calendar, which has Doug the Pug on it every day of the year, and putting them on top. Amazing. All right, so I've got the calendar cards, which is good that I haven't lost those, but I want all of the pieces that are not the calendar cards, but are in this same collection. There we have them. Okay, found them. Die cuts, all loose in a tray. Of course, George is going, no, I need to breathe. It's not #organized. Why does anyone allow her to keep scrapbooking and not just take control? It's okay, Georgia. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But I got some tags. I got some little tuckies. We like a tucky. Yes, we do. I like tuckies. How about you? Right. We got that one. That one. That looks good. Is that another flower? It is. Okay. I got what I wanted. It's still here. Doug the Pug was making sure it was all safe. Sophia has just told her boys that are actually speechless squeaks of excitement about new Phineas and Ferb. Oh, I won't say that out loud, but I love the second part of that. That's an excellent treat for him. Definitely. All right. Oh no. Georgia, who's usually #organized, had all of her cinch wires in a box and they got tangled, and now she's just walking away from it. She's going to catch her breath. Walk away. All right. So let me go back to my notes here a little bit, because I feel like in my notes this had more stuff going on. It did. It had tuckies. So let's add in some tuckies. And what we're going to do, so this one is under the yellow. So let's look for different places where we can add things in. Oh, for once, these photos actually have a relevant day of the week. I'm always confused to what to do with days of the week, because it's not really often something that I feel like needs to go on the page. But in this particular instance, the kids in this photo only see each other on Sundays. That's probably longer than I need. So let's tuck this one under the stripe. So it's there. Take that one up here. And I'm feeling chipboard shapes today. You know, I said I wanted to bring in more of that yellow. What do we say? I look in the chipboard. What do we call this? Chipboard mecca. And see about yellow. Oh, there's a yellow packet right there. These are all Kingston Crafts. We love a bit of Kingston Crafts. Yes, we do. Okay. She's on HSN at the moment. American Friends. I think she dropped some excellent stuff on Home Shopping Network like yesterday. Sophia says that Georgia needs to cinch her cinches so they can remain uncinched, ready to be cinched for when the cinching begins. All right. So, I think stars. We got some little ones in here? Yeah. Now, if I put this yellow next to that yellow, you can see how it's a little bit of a cooler toned yellow. So, we're going to do something about that. We're going to warm it up, which is a warm-up that we do at choir. Every time I get the opportunity to warm up my voice, I'm going to warm it up. Every time I get the opportunity to warm up my voice, you're going to hear me say, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's not there today. Yeah, yeah. Every time I get the opportunity to warm up my voice. Right. Yeah. It needs a lot of warming up today. It is a bit crackly. Kingston Crafts? No, they're American. She's based in Washington, D.C., Maryland. That sort of area. Yeah, no, Kingston Crafts is Merkin. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go with, I want to go with Wild Honey. I know that's my one oxide that goes weird. I don't think it's going to matter. Okay. Sophia has a question about Vinted. Georgia brought up that somebody on Vinted for UK friends. Oh, it's not the one that goes weird. Which is the one that goes weird then? It hasn't self-fixed itself. Oh, it's mustard seed is the one that goes weird. Wild honey is fine. Look. What is that? I do not know. It's like it's degrading. Anyway, that's mustard, not wild honey. Okay. It's the only one I've ever had that's done that, and it still stamps okay, so it's just weird. Okay. Sophia says, I have a question about Vinted. My daughter recently got into it and attempted to sell a few bits, but she's given up. Apparently, the standard on there is for people to make offers and do nothing. They don't pay. They don't reply to messages. It's such odd behavior. Is this always the way? It's not always the way, but there is a bit of it. I mostly ignore offers because there's a concept on Vinted where people say, oh, she's listed that thing that normally costs £50 for £10. I'll offer her £2. And I go, nope. Because it will just come to the seller as a pre-made message that says, would you accept £2? And I just leave it. Now, I get that somebody, Georgia says, there's also some person called Shimelle on Vinted who has a Martha Stewart punch listed. I do. Sometimes the offers are sensible. If something is £10 and you've offered £9, because that then brings the shipping into your budget or whatever, I get that. But when it's already a huge discount and you're offering a ridiculous thing, I just ignore it. Yeah. So don't get disheartened by it. There are plenty of decent shoppers on there. I don't buy new clothes anymore. I only buy vintage stuff. Oh, Sophia says she's accepted offers though, and then they don't respond or pay. Well, the good bit is you don't have to ship it if they don't pay. So just ignore them. I think sometimes people are like dabbling where they're not like obsessed. Like those of us who buy all the things on there. I got a new jumper today that arrived for Vinted. But yeah, I buy a few new bits for WB, but everything else, my specialty is things people bought on holiday at a theme park and then get home and realize they would never, ever wear. I mean, I'll give you 3 guesses where all my t-shirts like this that have Disney all over prints, where do they come from? Every single one of them, Vinted. Every single one of them. Yeah, it is. And I think different items have different success rates. When I went through and listed all the wooden toys from the toddler era, oh my goodness. A few people made ridiculous offers, but almost everything sold fast at the price that I offered because all that stuff is really expensive new. But some things are not expensive new, and then people decide to kind of see what they can get. Now, I was looking for my warm toned brush, and I don't know why it's not in its place because my other one is. What has happened? Why are you not in the right place? That bothers me. It's okay. I can use a booper. So I got a booper handle. Wild honey. Okay, we're good. So we're going to try what happens if I warm it up without sanding. Not very successful. Instead, we're going to file it down. So we're going to take, we have Depop in this country. I think Depop is like all over. It's a bit like Vinted, but more expensive. I started on Depop and then very quickly went, this will not be good for me because I'm paying quite a lot for items. But I did get a few pieces that were great. The thing I loved on Depop was I bought, oh, that worked much better. Okay, so we sand down a little bit of the bright and then add in this softer tone. That's fine. Then it's going to match better. See? Yay. Yeah, one thing that was really interesting for me was that at one point, this is many years ago now, I was following a lot of London quote-unquote influencers, the kind of people who had, like, they probably had a normal job and then they had an Instagram hustle where they went out and took pictures of themselves in in front of beautiful landmarks in new clothes. And the funny thing is that they would only wear those clothes once because they wanted new clothes in every Instagram picture or whatever, every Instagram post. I mean, okay, that's not the most sustainable thing, and I don't 100% love it. But as they'd usually been gifted the clothes in the first place, they would then list the outfit that they'd worn for much less than you could buy it for. And if you knew that there was an influencer in that category who was the same size as you, then you could buy it for a lot less. And I felt like then if it was something I was going to wear either many, many times or over many years, because I do love a seasonal wardrobe, don't I? So I have a couple of Halloween outfits that I got that way, and my Easter outfit with the little bunny collar and my bunny skirt, that was one of those. I think I would then feel like I was helping the clothes live out their destiny. So there we are, almost done here. And so, yeah, I did that on Depop. I don't know that there's so much of that on Vinted. I have found a couple people who clearly either were Instagram ambassadors for like small jewelry businesses, and then they list loads of that because it's like way more than anybody would buy. If they did buy it, then they had a shopping concern. Oh, and Corey says, you're making me feel weird for just donating myself to Goodwill and not dealing with the whole selling hassle. I gotta give you the tea on that. Our equivalent of the Goodwill, our charity shops, they're so inundated, and in the city, their shops are small, so they actually go through and tell you what they'll take and what they won't. So it's more like taking your stuff to a consignment shop to donate it. So I think probably out of the city, this is less of a problem because the shops are bigger. But in my area, like we have 3 charity shops in our little village in my neighborhood of London, but they're all really small. And there's only certain days of the month that they will just accept donations. One of them only takes designer goods. It's a designer charity shop. And you go in there and everything is like, I go in and I look and it's all really pretty, but it's more than I would spend. Even secondhand, it's more than I would spend. And then we have I forgot. We have 4, not 3. We have 4. We have, that one is Mary's Living and Giving. We have an Oxfam, a cancer research, and a shelter. The cancer research and the shelter all they both upped their game when the designer one opened. Oxfam still takes most things, but they'll put a sign up as to whether they have room to take things or not. And to be honest, that then made me go, okay, I will list stuff for sale first. And if it doesn't sell, then I'll take it, just because I couldn't, it was too much mental space to be like, what are they taking today? What are they not taking? And all of them have stopped taking children's clothes that's not designer, which is annoying because I would like to buy children's clothes secondhand, but they don't sell them anymore because they decided that people weren't buying them. So that made me sad. So I buy secondhand children's stuff on Vinted. Yeah. Sophia says the charity shops here have a crazy price this day. Yeah. Yeah, I do think Auntie Caffeine says you can't resell everything you own in America. I get a lot of YouTube videos along that lines of like, no one wants what you've decluttered, because my algorithm now has all of the me trying to organize video stuff. Because remember when we discovered body doubling, that is still the most successful thing that I have found for helping me make progress. So now my algorithm will give me all sorts of stuff that is like that. But I do think, having lived in both countries, even though I personally definitely like stuff more than I should, in general, Brits have less of it than Americans on average. I did this once I did a poll to say, like, how many t-shirts do you own? And I was shocked at how few some people have. I was never shocked at how many others have, because I have lots. And I love them all. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't have it. But lots of Brits did not have a t-shirt for every day of the week. Yeah. Okay, back to scrapbooking. Today is really a random rubbish topic kind of chat day, isn't it? So the chipboard is going to get tucked in along the way. Auntie Caffeine says, lots more cheap stuff entered the American market in the 90s. I mean, I do wonder things like, I never quite understand the cup trend. Like, how many cups get trendy? Expensive cups? And that seems to be like, there's a cultural element that I'm missing somewhere along the line. Yeah. Jolene says she could change t-shirts 10 times a day and still be okay for the week. I'm with you on that. Yep. I have over 100 t-shirts, definitely. And they're all folded in rainbow order, and I have a special section for these ones like I'm wearing today. Yeah. Okay. I want to save maybe just 2 here and 1 up there. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, so cups, I don't know. But I know people who are, cups, C-U-P, like, how many Stanley cups does one person need? But I see people on the internet who have lots of them, and that's their thing. They're like, I have to have all the cups. Not cups, cups. Yeah. And Carrie says, Carrie says, what amazes me about what you wear is not how you find it. It's where you put it, how you store it based on how you describe your house. Well, there's a reason why I've never shown you my bedroom. The t-shirts are actually the most organized thing in my entire wardrobe. T-shirts and dresses are great. Dresses in rainbow order. T-shirts in rainbow order. It's all the stuff that doesn't fall into those 2 categories does not have enough room. I mean, I have basics. I have a sock drawer. It's okay. I have a drawer for tights. We're good. But like the rest, the storage spot is not big enough. My like gym/dance wear drawer is always like, how much can I shove in here and push it closed? Yeah. So I should have fewer items. That would be sensible. My husband would love that. All right, where are we going? Where are we going? Is this the starting point? I think this is the starting point. Let's have a little. Dun, dun, dun. That's the earthquake. Okay. I'm so proud of how much better I've got at that. I'm also really excited that this construction guys were truthful, because the reason we started 10 minutes late was that they're doing smoothing of the road. You know, like when you concrete a road and then over time it gets all lumpy bumpy and the concrete cracks, even if you're not in a true earthquake zone. Here it's just because our water table moves up and down when we go through the humid phase, and now, like right now, we're in a bit of a drought because we have rain all through the winter, and now it's decided, hey, it's summer, and everything is a bit like the heath has instantly gone from green to yellow. And so things like this make the roads get all uneven. And so they're smoothing it, but they just do a tiny little section per day. And they did this section that's right outside this window. And when I came back in at lunchtime, they were jackhammering it. And I was like, I'm in that window. And I pointed up to my room. Like, I'm supposed to be broadcasting at 1:30. How long is it going to be this noisy? And they're like, look, we only have this little bit. We'll be done in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's going to be fine. And I was so worried that they were just telling me that to make me go away. But they really did pack up and go home. So there we are. Oh, hello, Allie. It's good. It's good. Right. So that is our starting point. Let's go on from there. Today's photos. These kids are reunited and jumping for joy. Happy times. So you've seen all of these kids before, but WB's bestie is in Matilda at the moment. Matilda has really strong, like not strong, overwhelming, demanding. That's the word I'm looking for. A really demanding rehearsal schedule. It's the most demanding rehearsal schedule in the West End for kids. Possibly for the adults too, I don't know. And it meant that for the whole rehearsal time, like 3 months, we basically never saw him. I think we saw him once. And so he wasn't in class because he didn't have any extra hours of the week. But he's back now that he's out of rehearsals and into the show. And this little crew of 4 are adorable. And they were so excited to have him back. Okay. So let's get a title put on here. We've got letter stamps. Should we do a stamp and cut it out kind of scenario? Or is that too slow for anybody's patience? Okay, Carrie says she's coming over in July. Will it really be in the 70s then? Quite likely, yes. So 70s Fahrenheit in the summer is like our default. But you need to remember that very, very few places have aircon. And if you're in London, it will feel hotter because there's no breeze. And so it might be like, once it hits over 75, it feels hotter. Yeah, because it's a weird mix. And it is not unlike the sort of climate you get around the Gulf and like Texas and Florida, where on one hand you're like, it's really hot. On the other hand, like, it's so humid, it feels like it needs to rain, and all I need is a breeze. But it's just not 100. It's like 75, 80. Yeah? The weird bit is that usually at random for about 1 week in the summer, it gets ridiculously hot, like 90s, And they're here. And we can't cope. We don't have anything that cools our homes. It's just, we can't cope. Right, Auntie Caffeine says, what happened to the chipboard stars at the bottom? The chipboard stars are 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all of them. All right, so we're gonna stamp and cut here. Oh, how funny. Just the G stuck there. What shall we stamp and cut with? What's the B side of this? No. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Small and Scrappy is like, what are you talking about in Celsius? Mid-20s. Yeah. What do we got? Oh, what if I went back to the pink rainbow? Oh, yeah, Paris is the same. We don't have methods of dealing with the heat, so we have the same problem. I just realized this has a really cool resist emboss kind of thing. She says immediately has to try it. She doesn't care what color ink it is. Does it actually? Oh yeah, it does work. Okay, let me show you. Can you see the pattern that's underneath the yellow now? So that is all the way across this. So I could ink it and it would come up like that. Okay, I don't think that's for this layout, but I think I'm going to keep it and maybe use it some other time in the month. Yeah, rain is unpredictable. Oh, Anna says, did anybody find the paper pad for Live the Dream? No, no one has the paper pad for Live the Dream. It has not arrived in any warehouse, okay? It may not ever come to fruition. I don't know, okay? Yeah, there is a regular paper pad that I designed and even have a sample of, but that sample did not come from what was created for sale. And that paper pad was commissioned by Joann's. And Joann's is no more. So it was made, but I don't know if it's ever going to see the market, okay? Yeah. If it appears at some point, then yay, but you're not missing it. It does not exist for anyone yet. We'll just see what we have. Okay, let's stamp these on here. What coloring? Like, I feel like this reddy orange. Like, is this a crackling campfire kind of thing? I think it'll look nice. Okay, we might need to add in this color a little bit more over here, but we've got dots, and the dots pick up that color too. Okay, we can do it. Hold on to that paper pad, it'll be worth millions. Nah. Georgia says, create your own collections and get pre-orders. Yeah. We'll see what shakes out. I have a contract, so I have to wait. That's all I can do. At this point, that's all I can do is wait and see what they decide to do with the contract, because what can you do, you know? But there we go. So yeah, if you don't know, American Crafts was acquired by another company, and this collection has been distributed by them, but it was commissioned by Joann. So think like when you look at it and think that there are things that are different, like there are no B-sides. There are 12 papers that both sides are all really bright. even the fact that some of them have like journaling papers on the back, I really had to fight for that. Why? I started writing the wrong word, but it's okay because we're cutting it out. All right, it's just not going to look like a word now. The stamping is off the page. Okay. Yeah. So it's good in a way that, it's good that it exists at all. I'm really happy and grateful about that. But it's obviously different than what we expected. Auntie Caffeine says, just get a 12 by 12 printer. No. Oh my goodness. Also, now is not the time for me to do something that I'm exporting from here. Nope. Most of my audience in America, no. I'm looking at other things I could do for Christmas this year because I assume that might get messy and I don't want messy. So I'm looking at other options. But there we go. Right. I put the T in the wrong place. So I'm writing reunited, but I got distracted while I was talking and just stamped a T. Who knows why. Allie says, with Vicky moving and Paige moving, they need to hang on to me at all costs. I think that's why my contract might have been sold. But I don't know the bigger plan. I just don't know. So there we go. All right. So even though they're in the wrong order, I have all my letters that I need to cut out, and I have stamped them in Crackling Campfire. And now we're going to cut them out. And Georgia says she will be in charge of my UK headquarters if somebody wants to volunteer to do the American office. I did 1 year. I don't know if any of you remember this. 1 year I did Christmas kits shipping from the US for US orders. And I did that with somebody who had a side business of kitting up things and sending them out. Oh my goodness. She was lovely. But it was not what I imagined. So basically not profitable in the end. Yeah. Has Paige's line been released with Pink Fresh? I'm trying to remember. What's the release date? I haven't seen it in the store. I know Flower Emporium, Vicky's first collection with 49 Market, is already in shops. You can tell how far ahead we design at American Crafts that she moved companies and the two collections ended up coming out within days of each other. Yeah, we design way far ahead and then just wait. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking. So Vicky, the shipping to the States like she used to do hasn't worked and has been problematic. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not even going to try to do Christmas kit or Christmas stamps the way I did in the past. I need to look at basically an American retailer to say if, can I send you stamps and you sell them? Georgia says, why don't we find somewhere warm with a beach and ship from there? This sounds great. And Corey says, her home has a beach, plenty of room. Oh, Corey, we're going to turn your back room into a scrapbook business. We're just going to show up. Corey will keep us going on Girl Scout cookies. I mean, we'll pay in for the Girl Scout cookies. Don't worry. But that's what I associate Corey with. All right, here we go. Allie says she's 20 minutes from the beach, but it's Galveston. I think you underestimate what we accept as a beach in the UK. I mean, I glamorize Brighton I still do. You can't walk on it because it's stones. You have to wear shoes because it hurts your feet. And 50% of the landmarks are actually old burnt down shells of things, ruins. Are you using this song lyric in your title? I'm just going to do the one word, but I think it might just automatically create that song lyric in your head. You could definitely stamp the other part in small letters underneath or use little stickers. Oh yes, Jane Austen definitely romanticized a British landscape. Once or twice. Yeah, Georgia says, the beach here is just where the land ends. It's very true. So much so that we have a place called Land's End. It's not just a shop. It's a place. Right. Papillos, where are you hanging out? Here you are in the place where you're supposed to be. Hashtag organized. I have one of these on my phone now too. I'm excited to go back though. So this is from Cabaret. And this one is from the original cast of this production, which was Eddie Redmayne and Jessie Buckley, who were out of this world. Then I didn't go back for a long time. But when my mom was here, we went to see Billy Porter and Marisha Wallace as the MC and Sally. And oh my goodness, Marisha, amazing. But now have to go back because Rob Madge is going in as the MC. I'm excited. WB is excited. It's really not a show for kids. There's one number I don't really want him to pay any attention to the choreography for. Everything else is okay because he historically knows it. He knows all the music. He knows what's going on. But there's one particular number that's a little too grown up. So we're trying to figure out what the best strategy is for that. But yeah. Raw match as the MC. I'm excited. So they start at the end of this month. And we have 6 weeks left at Starlight. New cast come in like 3 weeks. It's going to be wild times. Oh my goodness. Nikki says she sees a lot of sharks off the coast of the Isle of Man, and that and Georgia says we get sharks in Cornwall sometimes. Yeah, Cornwall's where we have our warmest water. Yeah. Auntie Caffeine says, Shimelle, what do you do when you have absolutely no scrappy energy? I can recommend having a standing schedule where you have to get up and scrapbook. The only time I cancel is if I am A, too unwell to do it, or B, something in life has prevented me. Because I have this like running thing. I don't ever stop because, I don't ever not show up because I'm just not feeling it. So pushing through means that you find a way to do it. But that's not really a great strategy, probably, for most people. So what I would suggest is a pinboard of dreams or taking a class. Yeah. So I have a Pinterest board that keeps me like, it's a special board that is just stuff that I see and go, oh, I could see myself doing that one day if I run out of ideas. Yeah. And I keep that pin board for me. Right. Auntie Caffeine says she's trying to finish layouts from National Scrapbook Day, and her stomach medicine has taken away any motivation for anything. Well, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is to be kind to yourself. It's for fun. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay? Which one of these is closest? Is it that one? Yeah, let's go with this one. So, yeah, Pinterest board. Nope. I believe in the importance of a mix of boards that are both public and private. So if you go to my Pinterest, you will find loads of scrapbooky boards that are organized by theme, and one that's just general, I like this stuff. Like, I like these scrapbook pages. But things that are specific to me with certain ideas, I keep on a private board and I write notes to myself. Because that is me doing proactive planning. So when I see something, and interestingly, this is how I used to work when I was editing a scrapbook title as well. I'm Glitter Sim on Pinterest. But yeah, keep in mind, I have a weird name. You search for Shimelle on anything, you're probably going to find me. There's not many of us. There's another one, she's an educator. Her last name's Thomas. We're the same age. In fact, we got our teaching qualifications around the same time, I think, because it was really funny that in the early days of Google yourself and see what you find. I'm like, oh, I found another person who's also a teacher, and she is also called Shimelle. That's funny. And she went on to become like a head teacher or principal or something. But yes. So when I was editing for the magazine, we would take all our submissions, and I wasn't using Pinterest. I had a different setup because I think this might have even been before you could have private boards on Pinterest, but I essentially did the same thing just with a different piece of software. Petite Mint says the board is in Pinterest. Yeah, it's on Pinterest. I'm not printing out pages or anything like that. No, it's stuff I've seen online. And so I would take all the submissions that I would get. So say I've got 100 layouts, and maybe 50 of them I see something that is publishable, but I wouldn't have 50 spots. Okay. And there is a definite look between a layout that is publishable and a layout that's not. It's why if you do ever get into submitting your layouts, take good, clear photos of your pages, because anything where we can't accurately see the color, it's not worth the risk of having you send it in and it not looking like the colors that we think it is. So biggest thing you can do is make sure that your photos have accurate color, good light. Okay, moving on. So after I'd made that initial cut of these I could publish, those I cannot, thank you very much, but that's not for us. Now I have to come up with themes that group these things together. And what I would do is like bundle them. And so I might be like, well, these 10 all have a theme in common. These 10 are all about summer holidays. And these 10 all use blue. Yeah. And some layouts would show up in both of those. They would be about summer holidays and they had blue. So they would end up with these like tags or descriptions to help me figure out what the eventual grouping would be. Yeah. And so I do the same sort of note taking for things where I see something and go, okay, I'm not going to do that today, but I might find that useful someday. And I would put a note on the, like in my notes with saving it, I would be like, have a look at the border. So I would just say like border or color scheme or balance or composition, you know, and I would just put those little notes in, and I keep that all on a private board so that then I can go through. And also, one of the things that's great about having a whole bunch of ideas gathered on one board is it allows you to then zoom out and see all of them together and go, oh, what is catching my eye right now? And I think that's a really important part of the creative process, to know what is catching your eye. Speaking of catching my eye, earlier a navy blue tab caught my eye and I thought I need more navy blue. I need even more than this, but this is a good start. So we got dots zigzagging through here. We've got the navy blue brought into there. I need something to bring the navy blue to the bottom here too. So we had some tags and stuff. I know we're running a little late, but we're almost done. Should I just take that 3x4? I'm going to keep this top of it, the top block here, because I think that has potential for something else. But I'm just going to take the bottom segment here and add it as a layer underneath everything here, which is not sensible because I put pop dots down here. Okay. Wiggle, wiggle. Okay, I like this better now. Oh, not like that though. Okay, okay. Let's put some rose gold mist on here. Now, journaling wise, I'm going to journal straight onto this polka dot paper. The rose gold is saltwater taffy. I'm putting it everywhere. Just a little bit. All right. Oh, what was that? Oh, just throw it on the floor, Shimelle. Oh, I know it's my favorite shelf. Oh, it did it on purpose though, because guess what I found? That was the thing I dropped, but I found navy blue. Let's add navy here with this one. But yeah, if not well, and you're not feeling in your right mind, even if you were, above all, be kind to yourself. Give advice to yourself that you would give to someone you care for. Yeah? You would not, even those of us here that you just vaguely know from coming to this live stream, there's not a single person in this live chat that you would go, you know what, you failed as a scrapbooker because you didn't finish your National Scrapbook Day challenges. No one is going to say that. Nobody. So, I know that it's okay. Yeah? And I also know that looking back now, this one bit of confetti and this 2 bits of confetti is not enough confetti for me. So I'm going to add 2 more little bits of confetti to finish this. So we're going to do a trio here. No, it needs to come down here. And a trio up here. star is making it difficult. Let's go there. Okay. Journaling's going to go onto this background there and a little bit down here. I think their names down here and the story up here. Right. A little zoom in and a reminder. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. I really appreciate it when you are here. I appreciate things like buying my classes, buying my products, tagging me when you use my products, all of that sort of stuff. But also, I just really appreciate that you take time out of your day to come hang out with me. It's kind of funny that I can do this sort of thing, and there's a whole group of us who are here. And please know that I really, really just always appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. If you enjoyed the video and you want to give it a thumbs up, that's super duper awesome, and I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be live again here on Friday morning at 10 a.m. and class content. Now that I'm back in the land of the living, I've got old stash class gets stuff today, punches tomorrow. Is it both classes on Friday? There's one day, it's either Thursday or Friday, both classes get something. I think it's Friday that both classes get something. But all of that is on my Instagram and saved in the little highlight that says video times, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you very soon. And maybe you'll come to Scrap and Learn at the weekend. That would be super duper cool too.